Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively on Sunday the 3rd of July with FLOSSTUBE number 132. Thanks to you all for coming back to watch me. Hi to anyone who's new, but yeah, my mostly weekly FLOSSTUBE about my hobby, counted cross stitch, and a little bit of life stuff, occasional rant, but generally it's about cross stitching and the things I work on, the things I acquire. It's been a week. You may recall last week a little bit ranty, but thank you generally for the support of me being able to express my frustration and anger and being upset. And also my heart goes out to several people who chose to share some personal stories with me through direct message. And thank you for, I guess, trusting me with your story and your, hopefully I provide, as I said in my comments last week, I want to provide a safe space for people to just be accepted and supported for what they need to be supported for, really. It was a couple of difficult comments last week, which wasn't necessarily unexpected. I did have to delete one person, not so much because of their opinion or point of view, but after me saying I'm not going to debate my beliefs. However, they sent a couple of messages that were actually really, really nasty. Not necessarily at me, but generally. And, one thing to have an opinion, another to be really cruel with that and just send some real vitriol through. So they got removed. They weren't, by the way, I think he was not a cross stitch subscriber, not a subscriber at all, and also never commented before, so they were presumably just looking for keywords and wanted there to be nasty, so that's fine. How's Dad doing? He's doing okay. He got a ride in this week to visit with Auntie Ivy, which was nice. One of his, don't tell the officials, but one of his home care people had mentioned she had to go into Whakatane for a couple of hours, and he asked, would he be able to get a ride with her as an unofficial thing, because they're not allowed to take people in their own cars. So let's just say it was a neighbour picking him up and taking him in to drop him off, so he got to visit with Auntie Ivy, which was really lovely. He had a shoulder scan week, I don't know if I said last week or not. So ongoing long history with the shoulder, multiple injuries. Basically, it's not in good shape. There is one partial ligament, or one ligament partially connected. They can't see where any of the other tendons have gone. They've all retracted. And I don't know the difference between a ligament and a tendon, so I might use the wrong word. But all the bits that hold your arm on and allow it to go up and down and retract and etc. They said he needs to not do anything, because if that last one fully tears, he will have a useless arm. It will hang. A, be painful, B, will just hang and be useless, and C, will be easy for him to dislocate. So he's still waiting to see the surgeon to see if they can do anything. I hope they can. I hope that he can have some sort of surgery. I think, given that I don't think they'll offer him surgery if they think the risks are too great, if they offer him surgery, I think he should have it, because right now it's very sore and very debilitating. But anyway, we'll see. He's sort of said if they offer it, he'll have it. So fingers crossed. Actually, I just had coffee with my neighbours, and I didn't tell them about Dad, so hi Sandy. That was the Dad update. You mentioned how often I give an update on Dad on the video and I haven't told them, so there you go, there's the update on Dad. It was not a great week for me stitching wise. It was a rough week. It was a tiring week, mentally draining. I think I stitched Sunday evening, so after it got dark, and I might have got a little bit done on Thursday when I worked from home, like a lunchtime maybe, but I'm not even sure I had a lunch break on Thursday. And on Friday evening other than that, like Monday, just I felt emotionally drained, and finished work at like 4:45, and I was working from home, and I went just have a little lie down, just a little break, and I woke up at 9 p.m. So house wide open, windows open, blinds open, pitch black. I must have just needed a bit of a break. So Monday was a write-off. Tuesday I went to the movies. I went to see Top Gun Maverick and loved it. Just enough nostalgia to edge in on cheesy, but for those of us who, went to see the original when we were like, 15 or so? 15 or 16 maybe? What year was it? 86? So I would have been 14. And it was good. It was good. Not a huge Tom Cruise fan. I think this was one of his better efforts. When you could argue he doesn't act well, doesn't really act. He's sort of himself. I enjoyed it anyway. It was worth going. I'm glad I helped get over $1 billion in box office sales. Then Wednesday, I don't even remember what I did on Wednesday. I think I just worked a little bit late, because I worked in town. By the time I got home, I just cooked dinner, and I just didn't do any stitching. And even last night, I did quite a lot of stuff around the house, and I just felt like having a break, really. So it was a very quiet week stitching. But I do have 2 projects to show you, so it's not a complete write-off. And I am going to do a WIP parade at the end, so I'll get through what I've stitched on, and then I'll be doing a WIP parade. So if you're not interested in that, you can cut the video short. I did get some happy mail this week. I didn't buy anything. I did send through a bit of an order to Catherine from Country Stitch to say for the next sort of 6 months, here's some fabric, some counts and cuts and colours that I'd like, and here's a list of some threads I need. So that's with her. So the next few months will be off that list, but still a surprise because I don't know what's coming when. Oh, it's only one bit of fabric that I want / need this year, and that is for Quinto Cuto, or the pointed fifth, and I need that by November, because I'm planning to start that in November as part of my 50 at 50, which is ages away, but that's okay because I've got still got 40 projects in the cupboard. So yeah, I got some happy mail this week, and it was unexpected and lovely, and kind of, you could argue, just what I needed, as in happy mail beats rude, obnoxious person in my comments any day. So it's all a bit of a mishmash here, but basically it's from Danny from the Cardiff Stitcher, and she sent me a funny little postcard, it's long and skinny, and so she sent me some things from Wales, including this postcard which talks about the origin of the Welsh love spoon, and is the whole thing around they were given on special occasions or simply as a token of affection, a whole lot of traditional symbols and stuff. Because she sent me it's not a carved one, but a resin one, a love spoon, and it is, so got Wales, I'm not even gonna it's got Wales and Welsh, and it's really lovely, and it's a magnet, so I have to find so many products. I don't put magnets on my fridge, but I do have magnets and a place where I can put magnets. And yeah, so talks about some of the meanings on this. Often the heart was for love, affection or friendship. Hearts entwined meant love is returned. Bells were used for engagements, weddings, anniversaries. Diamond shape for good fortune, horseshoe for good luck, vines and trees grow together, full and fruitful, chain links for loyalty, faithfulness, life together forever, flowers for gentleness and growth, balls in a cage, like on here there are balls in a cage to represent the number of children that were desired. Thank goodness she didn't give me any, because she ain't getting no children from me. Celtic cross was for faith and or Wales. A lock was for security. Shield for safekeeping. Birds with lovebirds. And Welsh symbols, the dragon. I've got a dragon on mine. daffodil and the Celtic cross. And yeah, so they were, they date back as far as the early 16th century, and I think it's really cool. So thank you, Danny. So there was, yeah, the postcard and the little spoon magnet. And then the rest of it's stitchy stuff. So I'm going to leave what I think is the best till last, even though I shouldn't really. First of all, she sent me a Frogger, which I could have done like the other week, doing Judith's frogging, but I'm sure there'll be some more frogging in my future. So that's kind of cool. I don't have a purpose-built frogger, I just use my needle, so it'd be nice to have a Frogger. Thank you. It's cute. I like that. And she sent me a bunch of, I better read the postcard, some threads, which, what did she say? La 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 la. Just says the threads she'll never use, so they're called 6-strand sweets, hand dyed by Jessica Burr. They're really lovely colours. I think it's cotton. So I don't know where, so their website on the back is 6strandsweets.com. I don't know if that's still a brand you can buy, but mulberry wine, organic raspberry, caramel meringue, like caramel meringue maybe, and marshmallow eggs. And then she sent me a bit of fabric, which is, she said, I wasn't sure if, no, hang on, blah, blah, blah. I saw the material and thought of you. I know it's not your usual type. So here's the fabric. It's one of those printed fabrics from Lakeside Needlecraft, and it's an exclusive. Now, it is very different. It is a 36 count. I've stitched on a similar fabric from Fabric Flair where it's printed and it was an even weave. So I'm going to have to put, I think once you get into it you'll get used to the thread count. But it's called Pomegranate, so of course she thought of me. It's a fat quarter-ish in Pomegranate. So I'm intrigued, and I'm going to have to find the perfect project to try with that. And you could argue that these threads look really good on it, although they might be a little bit too similar. Yeah, I don't know. I will be keeping my eye out for something that would suit that. Worst case, right, you could just use it as a back for a cushion or something. So that was very kind. We still haven't got to the best yet. The next two are joint the best because, and I haven't even asked her where she got these from, but they're amazing. So first of all, here is the back of the needle minder, and it says make today great. And here is the back of the thread keep. And the reason I'm showing you the back is because I want to show you the front last. Look what it says. Don't let your needles rust. Oh my God, I just about lost my shit. So, and the needle minder says that as well. It's so cool. So, she had to send that to me, obviously, because hello. And I'm like, where, how? So I have to ask her, where did she get them from? Do I buy a whole lot? Do I buy some to give away? Yay, so that needs a special project. Up to 20 threads can fit on there. And cute little, it's so cute. So, and the other beauty is, because I tend to use my needle minders, I use a clipboard. I sit with a clipboard by my stitching, which I put my chart on, and a small collection of needle minders sit on the clip bit because it's metal. So I essentially get 2 needle minders because I just sit them flat and I can see both sides because I don't use them on my fabric like that. I use them like that. So it's very cool. So thank you, Jenny. That was a lovely surprise, and I don't know, it just made my day because it was a rough week, you know, emotionally. Okay, so that was everything there. Now I just have to show you my stitching. So I picked up the 2020 pandemic sampler and got started on the house. This is on 40 count Prehistoric from Fox and Rabbit, using my own partial conversion. Was start number 11 of 50 that I started back in March. Last time you saw it, I'd finished sort of the bottom, well, just over a third. So I started on, I got that house done. So basically the red house and the bits and pieces above it are done. It's very faint. There is a tiny little, you can see it much better in person. There's a tiny little motif in there, but it's not showing up on camera at all. And I also got a bit more border done from about here up. So I pretty much had stitched maybe to that one. I might have got that one done, doesn't really matter. So yeah, got a little bit more done. And I think I might, just so I don't get stuck with all the border at the end, I might carry, next time I pick it up, I might carry on up and get, there's a couple more motifs above there, and then get the corner done, and then before I move over to the other house. Although I am planning to do to record a stitch with me, or listen to me rant while I stitch. So I might stitch on the house for that, because it's a nice big block of colour and I'm less likely to make a mistake while I'm not concentrating properly. Yeah, that's pretty much what I stitched on Sunday and Friday. I did get a little bit done yesterday, but I wanted to get caught up on the Jeannette Douglas Mini Bouquet Sampler, which you can go to her website, it's free. She is Jeannette Douglas Designs in Canada, and she's releasing one a month, and I recommend saving the designs even if you don't stitch it. They're nice little smalls, they're nice to have in your repertoire. So I'm stitching this on 40 count Haystack from Country Stitch, just using random stuff, pulled a whole lot of stuff from my stash. This was started back in the beginning of the year, 4th of January, so it's not one of my 50 at 50. So I got the July bouquet done. My colours ended up being a little bit darker because the colour way is sort of more patriotic on the chart, but the colours that I have been using are just that little bit darker. The navy was a new colour I pulled in. So yeah, they're nice quick little stitches, nice sense of achievement, the perfect monthly sale as far as I'm concerned. Nice and quick to do, and they don't dominate your stitching for the month. Just before we get on to my WIP parade, reminder that I'm going to be start number 25, so halfway will be A Perfect World by the Scarlet House that I'm stitching on 36 count natural linen from controversial company now, Victorian motto. Yeah, A Perfect World by the Scarlet House on that fabric, and I'm using all the called for DMC. Well, I think it's DMC. It's been, no, mixture, called for threads. And of course, I do stitch this bottom up, so guess what I start with? We're going to start with that big ass black border, but that's okay. So all you'll see next week will be some of this done. Don't expect any of that done, because that's how I stitch. So pretty much that is the end of my FLOSSTUBE proper. I'm just going to whip through now a bit of a whip parade, been halfway through the year at my 25 of 50. I ironed everything this morning and reminded me that there's a few things that I really want to work on. There's nothing in this pile that I want to get rid of, which is good. I just, you know, I've got a few too many large whips that I haven't worked on that aren't going to get done this year, but that's okay. Next year is not a 50 at 50. And no, I am not starting 51. You know who you are, who suggested that last week. Okay, no particular order. They are literally in the order that I opened the bags and ironed them. I will be editing a little bit as I go because, well, I do edit every week, but I'm just going to cut out all the rustling and stuff because A, it's boring, and B, it makes the video longer and it's unnecessary. So my next whip is Heaven and Earth Designs, Mystic Moments 1, which was a rack from Danny as well. Like, this is the Danny hour. Thank you, Danny. I haven't stitched on this for ages because I've been busy with my 50 at 50. But this is a long-term project. So I'm stitching this on, had a bit of a false start at the beginning of the year. So I originally started it on the 1st of the 1st, and then I didn't like the fabric. So then I restarted it on the 14th on 20 count Ada using all the core 4 DMC. 20 count Ada. I might have said that already. And I'm just working in the background. I start some of the actual design soon, but I want to work across and get all the way across the bottom at this stage. I didn't iron the whole piece of fabric, just the bottom. So yeah, it's boring old beige and stuff, but when I pull this out, I enjoy it. I just need to, I don't know. I don't think it's going to get much love this year, but next year hopefully I'll get a bit more time on it. So the next project is also a large project that's not having much love this year. I think I did a little bit at one stage, but and I pulled it out. I'm like, oh God, I really want to work on this. So again, I'm going to give myself some grace, and maybe these two. I think there are 3 projects in here that I'm just probably not going to get that much done on this year, but they will be not focuses for next year. But I might make sure I give them some love every month next year so that they keep moving on. But again, I recognise that I keep starting lovely new things that I can finish and they're just languishing. But it's Save the Stitches from Liz Armand. There is a free chart that you can get, or it was a free series you can get on her website, Black Work Journey. It's a 24-part series and I've done 3. And I don't have a picture of what it looks like finished, but yeah, I'm stitching this one on 28 count antique white Lugana using DMC Pearl number 12 and 310 stranded, also DMC Diamond metallic and gold, copper and pewter, and matching Mill Hill bead. So it's sort of called for, sort of not. It's a bit of a combination. So this was the start 1st of January 2021. So yeah, this one it's very unusual for me to have projects go beyond a year, but these ones are multiple year. And here we go, here's where we're at from last time. So I am stitching this from the top down because I'm stitching in order of the series and beading as I go. Doesn't have a lot of beads, but there's some little beads in there. I think all the beads only go into the most of these little ones. So it is really lovely. The metallic's really subtle, the designs are beautiful. It's sort of one that when I pick it up I kind of freak out a little bit, and then once I get my eye in, I just really enjoy stitching on it. So it does need a little bit of love, and I had said at the beginning of the year I might try and get a part done every month, and I haven't, so never mind. So my next WIP is a recent start 20 of 50. It's the Winter Garden by the Drawn Thread, and I'm stitching this on a cord 4 32 count Smoky Pearl using cord 4 silks. It's all cord 4, and this started on the 1st of June, and I probably got about a third of the way done with it, or just over a third. So another big house. Well, it's actually not that big. So yeah, the Winter Garden. And this is where I got to, but last time I showed this I hadn't ironed it, so it's nice to have it ironed for you. So that's where I got to there. So I've started putting all the windows in on the house. I started on the house and then decided I'd do all the bits that need counting, and then I can just fill in with the white. Be a lot, and then also I'll get a better idea whether I need a second white or not. So I think that might be the only colour I'll run out of. Enjoy the specialty stitches on this, and of course I love stitching with silk, so you don't really get to see the texture on that tree with those fur stitches. It's very pretty, so I'm enjoying that, and I should pick it up again. Next up is another recent start as well, both are all recent, Jardin Privé Cat Lovers. And that was start number 19 of 50, and I'm stitching this on 36 count cream and sugar from Fibre on a Whim. I spelled fibre wrong there because I spelled it the New Zealand way. Using a 3/4 DMZ conversion. There's my conversion on the back if anyone wants to see what it is. 22 is one of my favourite orangey sort of, well, it's a reddish colour. And here we go. So we're, of course, haven't nothing on it since last time. But yeah, it's a lovely one to stitch. When I like all of them, so I don't know why I keep saying that, but I do. Next up, we've got Panoply of Peacocks from Jeannette Douglas Designs. It's not a great digital mock-up and doesn't really show all the detail. This was start number 6 of 50 back in February. So on 40 count silver fern linen from Country Stitch, using my own silk conversion. I think it's all Silks for You. I think, yeah, doesn't matter. And I kind of am, not only am I doing a silk conversion, but I've added a couple of extra silks, and I'm also not stitching it exactly as charted, so where like that colour and a colour in there might be the same, I've actually used different silk because I keep getting new silks in with my monthly clubs, and I just am having fun with it really. Because the colours that I've ended up choosing are quite different, it's going to look quite different. Different enough, so that's where we're at. Also, you may recall I've got accounting errors, so I'm working around that, modifying slightly because I'm not going to frog. It's the joys of mucking up the first time you pick it up and then having to work around. Like, I made the error in the first 2 hours of stitching on this, and I didn't find the error until probably about 20 hours of stitching, and I was not going to undo everything. It's a kind of, because the pattern it has overlapping motifs, like they run into each other. For example, down here it's largely symmetrical, but this peacock here gets cut off because that one's sort of overlapping. So luckily it's the kind of design where you can take a few liberties with the stitches and just finish without having completed a motif symmetrically, because they overlap and they're all kind of messed up together. So thankfully, if you're going to miscount, do it on a project where you can get away with it, pretty much. So yeah, that's that one. The next one's an oldie but a goodie, and I really need to pick this up because I do want to finish this one this year. I want to finish the Tempting Tangle, the Panoply of Peacocks. I want to finish that one this year, and I want to finish this one this year. So this is an old carryover for the year. So Sunset by Carolyn Manning Designs. I did finish Sunrise a while ago. It's a companion piece. So this one is stitched on coral coloured linen from Tom and Lily Creations, and on 20 it's 20 count Ada, just all called for DMC. This does work for me, but not ideal. And this is where I got to. So I'm about 45%, give or take, I think. No, I'm about 75%, 74%. I think just shy of 3/4 done. And it is amazing, and I just need to pick it up. So while I really like using Pattern Keeper for this type of project, I think it's much better than using the chart. I don't love using my tablet. I do still prefer a chart. So sometimes I edge away. I've got more and more of my designs are on Pattern Keeper, and I'm like, I need to sort out a better charging system, because I forget to plug it in and I go to use it and it's flat, so I don't stitch on that project. So I need to get an extension cord, really. Yeah, the electronics, that gets in the way for me of what I like to be a very physical, tangible, tactile hobby, and I get annoyed that I have to worry about charging the tablet, and that I have to have the tablet just there and I've got to get the light just right. It kind of annoys me. So while I think I think using it for full coverage or really intense sort of dense projects is fantastic, it's much more efficient and quicker than using the chart and hunting for symbols. The technology annoys me, the fact that I have to use technology, so I'm a bit conflicted with it, but I still enjoy it. That was a bit ranty, hey? Next up, we've got Griffins of the Kingdom, recent start. Started when I was up with my dad. Did I? Yeah, I think I did. So this is Rosewood Manor. stitching sort of with a cord 4, which is 32 count antique white linen. So it calls for DMC 310 stranded, but I'm using floss, which is great because, you know, instead of using 2 strands, using the floss, and I am using the called for Petite Treasure braids. So that was start number 17 of 50. And I really need to pick this. I want to pick them all up, to be fair. I should have a board behind it. It's a bit see-through, but that's where I got to. And it's fun. I love the design. Next up, a relatively new one. You saw this last week before, last week. Start number 24 of 50 was Southern Land from Our Forest Embroidery, which has been stitched on 32 count fairy dust from Zweigart using my own conversion, Threadworks and DMC. So you saw this last week, and here she is thus far, very bold and dynamic. Kind of a slap you in the face sampler, not at all like a antique. But yeah, quite happy with that. Surprised me as I did all this ironing how many projects I've got on 32 count, which, you know, do prefer 36, but 32 is good for stitching in the wild because I can see it without a light. This project is another one that is big and it's going to take me a long time to finish, and I haven't even touched it since I started it, and I'm just kind of letting it go for now because I'm not going to finish it this year, so I'm going to focus on projects I can finish this year so I don't go into next year with 20 projects. I mean, I might have 20 projects, but I don't want to go in with more than 20 projects next year. So given I'm starting 50 this year and I started 3 before, I think I've started all up. I'm going to have started at least 53 projects this year because I had like the 14th, the 5th, I had 3 starts before, I think it was 3 starts before the my 50 started. So anyway, this is not going to be finished, therefore I'm not prioritising it. It's going to go into next year with the black work piece and with the full coverage piece as being 3 that are going to need some love but aren't going to be finished quickly. Shall I show you what it is? It's the Teresa Wentzler Oldie Buddy Goodie 4, and given I want to stitch all 4 of these eventually, these are going to be multi-year projects, and I'm stitching this all called for, so 32 count cream linen, and I started, this one was start number 7 of 50 on the 1st of March. And I, again, this only got started and I haven't even touched it. And it doesn't look like much because I haven't done any of the black work, any of the back work, but yeah, it's not a huge, I mean, it's actually quite a lot of stitching, but it's not a huge start. But you know, it's Teresa Wentzler, so we've got blends and quarter stitches, and yeah, that's where I got to with that. So tiny little start. Okay, next one we've got is start number 21 of 50, which was Flowers Uprising. So this is from Tinsel Cross Stitch on Etsy on 40 count parchment by Country Stitch using Alarm Fire Belle Soir, which was gifted from Judith. So I started this a month ago in June. This is the mock-up, and this is just, I'm like, oh, I want to stitch on this now. So it's good to get your whips out and still love them, right? So yeah, that's where we got to, what, about a third of the way. I think I decided, I won't say we because you weren't involved, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And an oldie but a goodie, this will be finished this year as well, Ruskin's Penguins. So this was a start just before I started my 50 at 50. So this is a stitch along I'm doing with Judith and Anne in the New Zealand / Wellington Facebook groups. So this is on 32 count wintergreen from Country Stitch using my own conversion. So here's what the mock-up looks like. Lots of people stitching this. And I still have the border done. I'll kick off with the penguins next time I pick this up, which I don't know when that is actually. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hopefully I'll get a chance to stitch on it this month. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It'll get finished this year. I only need a couple more sessions with it and it'll be done. Next up is another recent start, start number 23 of 50, which you saw last week as well, Nevermore by Leila Studio, which is on 36 count silver birch by Country Stitch, and this is a partial conversion. That's the mock-up, but low ink mock-up. And here is where I'm at, and oh, I love this so much. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm very itching to get back to this one as well and get started on that great big raven, I guess. Yeah, I get to start down here with the raven, and exciting. Start number 22, which I need to do more on, but you know, Pomegranate Sampler from Fox and Rabbit, which is on 40 count Apricot Dream by Country Stitch, using the cottage garden threads that were stitched on the model. Felix and Cloudy Day mock-up, and my tiny little start, which is down there. So yeah, I need to pick this up. And last but not least is start number 1 of 50. So this was my first start for my birthday. Come to the Garden by Teresa Kogut on 40 count beige weeks dye works, using mostly the called for, but a couple of my own. This year's. I don't take it out of the plastic because I want to be able to pass this on. I'm working off a digital copy, so you know, I want to keep the plastic bag intact. And here, a reminder, I only shot this recently as well. Very close to a finish, so this will be finished this year as well. And I expect Nevermore to be finished too. So we say that as we've got 25 starts still to go, but oh well. So I was putting everything away and I realised I'd missed one because I've got quite a few that are double bagged. So yeah, this is a WIP as well. So not ironed because I already put the iron away. So Le Fille Mimi, Mary Rose Inspiration Quaker on 40 count Mallow from Zweigart, using my own conversion. Inspired by Stitch Palettes, Bed of Roses palette. So yeah, start number 8 of 50. That's where I'm at on this one. So yeah, I just insert this one in because I missed it. Okay, see you later. Yeah, so that's my WIP parade. That's everything that I've got on the go. It's a lot. And yeah, as I said, 3 big ones there that are not going to get a lot of love this year because focusing on finishing things I can finish, and probably of everything I've shown you, I hope to finish half of them this year, and the other half will probably not be finished, but that's okay. And of the 25 to come, well, I don't know what they all are, so I need to finish, yeah, I've got 25 to start. I think I've got, I don't remember how many WIPs I just shown you. Was that 16? It feels like more, but I don't know. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of walk down memory lane. You've seen most of them in the last couple of months because I've worked on most of them in the past couple of months, except for those big ones. And I haven't worked on Sunset this year, or yeah, I don't think this year. I think I got some done in December because I pushed to get that Sunrise finished, but I don't know. I don't remember when. It's written down on a card in the room. So I'm going to wrap this up here, get this edited, cut a bit of rustling out, and hopefully get this up not too late in the afternoon. I've got minestrone soup on in the crock pot, and what's the time? 1 o'clock. I need to eat some lunch, and then I might get my lawns mowed this afternoon. And this evening I'm going to start A Perfect World, I wish. As always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.